Starting off number 10, we have Fort Abraham Lincoln Cluster House in North Dakota. You'd think that if your house was haunted by the love of your life, you'd kind of be okay with it, maybe. But that's what happened here at Fort Abraham. General Custer built this home for his wife, but unfortunately he barely got to spend any time in it. Custer died in 1876, and his wife decided that even in death they would not be parted. Mrs. Custer apparently haunts the home and has been spotted in her morning gown walking around. Lights flicker on and off, and sometimes phantom voices echo when no one else is there. Whether or not Custer resides in the house with her, we do not know, but the romantic in me hopes that in some way they have been reunited. Number 9, the Hager House, Hagerstown, Maryland. This house is crowded when it comes to hauntings. It is currently occupied spiritually by two families, the Rowers and the Hammonds. Jonathan Hager and his wife Elizabeth purchased the plot in 1740, but died in a tragic accident in 1775. After that, his son inherited it and passed it to the Rowers, who, when they died, passed the house to their relatives, David C. Hammond and his sister Susan Armstrong. By the 1840s, though, a strange string of sudden deaths occurred. 4 of the grown children of the Hammonds died within 3 months of each other. Now this house sits empty in this world, though anything but in the next. Visitors report hearing disembodied voices and objects moving on their own. Number 8, Elvey Farm, Kent, UK. In 1998, the village of Pluckley was verified with the Guinness Book of World Records to be the most haunted village in England. Elvey Farms is one of the reasons for that claim. Built in 1406, the first residents of the home were ghosts. Apparently, as many claim the house has never been without them. Visitors report hearing footsteps creaking around the house, which some say could be Robert Dubois. Robert Dubois was a highway workman people say preyed on the villagers until he was stabbed for his crimes. But the spookiest occurrence that happens at the house is the one belonging to the tragic death of Edward Brett. Brett owned the farm in 1900 until one day he apparently said, quote, "I will do it," walked into the dairy farm and shot himself. Visitors report hearing a voice whisper those very same words before they hear footsteps leading out the door. Number 7, Monte Cristo Homestead, New South Wales, Australia. If a house ever has a tragic past, it is almost like guaranteed something sinister is about to happen. It's just a thing. It's one of the reasons real estate agents, for the most part, have to disclose whether someone died in the house or not. Superstitious or not, it does change the way people look at the place they're about to live. Be honest, guys, if you were told that somebody died in your house, what would you do? What would you do? The Monte Cristo homestead was built by the Crawley family in 1876, but soon after, tragedy struck. The haunting began the day the young daughter of Christopher and Elizabeth Crawley was dropped down a flight of stairs by their maid. The maid claimed that it was a mysterious dark force that threw her from her hand. Regardless of how or why, the death haunted the couple. When Christopher passed away, this tormented his wife even more, who reportedly left the house only twice before her own death since then, and then stayed thereafter. Families who have occupied the house periodically ever since have reported feeling sudden agitation by the stairs, or have even heard Elizabeth ordering them to get out of the house. They could hear steps on a wooden floor despite the house having been carpeted years later. If anyone chooses to live there for any amount of time, they have to decide whether they can live with another family and that they'll never be alone. Number 6, the Myrtles Plantation, St. Francisville, Louisiana. This 18th century plantation, along with its 600-acre land, carries with it a dark past. Only one murder was ever confirmed on the estate, but it is suspected that over 10 lives were taken. One of the most famous ghosts who reportedly walks the ground is that of Chloe. Chloe was a slave who poisoned the birthday cake of the daughters of Clark Woodruff to take a small kind of revenge. She apparently didn't intend for the girls to die, only to fall ill, but when they did die, her fellow slaves were so fearful that Woodruff would find out that they hung Chloe for her crimes. This is one of the tales that gets fluctuated over the years, but the verified murder was that of William Drew Winter, who was shot on his porch, reportedly crawled back into the house, climbed all the way up to the 17th step on the stairs in time to die in the arms of his love. Both tales have sparked sightings of spirits on the ground, and in Winter's case, visitors reportedly see and hear bloody footprints crawl to the 17th step only to then stop. Number 5, the Bell Witch Farm. John Bell had a very interesting neighbor named Kate Batts. She was suspected of being a witch, and John made the foolish mistake of cheating her out of land. On her deathbed, Batts set a curse upon him and claimed that she would haunt the family forever. So, when he began hearing knocking sounds on the walls and the doors and chains being dragged around the house, he knew it was her. But Then things started to get worse. His daughter began getting pinched and scratched and beaten by invisible forces. Even John reportedly felt the stick being stabbed into his throat. John mysteriously died on December 1820, and many believe that bats was responsible. For 200 years, visitors still report seeing orbs and hear talking and walking when no one is around. Could it be that bats trapped the family with her to haunt the house for the rest of time? Maybe. But should you wish to visit, perhaps it would be wise only to view from afar. Number 4, the Loretta Lynn Plantation. In 1966, the same year Loretta Lynn's Dear Uncle Sam swept the radio, she bought this 1876 plantation. Despite rumors that 19 soldiers were said to have been murdered there in 1863, Lynn paid no mind. But soon after moving in, Loretta and her family, of course, began experiencing very strange interactions. Her son Jack said he saw the spirit of a Civil War soldier taking off his boots. Then her son Ernest reported seeing 2 soldiers standing at the foot of his bed. And there's more. Her twin daughter spotted a woman in white sobbing on a balcony, and this time Loretta saw it too. In order to solve the mystery, Lynn reportedly held seances in the house. But then her son Jack tragically drowned in 1984, and Lynn and the rest of her family moved out. She opened it up to visitors eventually, but requested that not a single object in the house was to be touched. If they did, it would come at a terrible cost. When a tour guide accidentally touched an object, they were shoved down the stairs by an invisible force. Apparently, the ghosts in the house agreed with Lynn's demands, or were they demands they made of Lynn? Either way, though it may be open to visitors, if you do visit, perhaps keep your hands in your pockets. Before we get to our top 3, guys, if you like this video, you know what to do. Do the thing, like the video, subscribe, do a little dance, enjoy it. I don't know, do what you need to do, but we love you for liking our videos. Number 3, the Basilica Axe Murder House, Basilica. This next house literally has a sign outside that says Axe Murder House, so I don't know, I guess it's nice that they aren't trying to hide anything. It's pretty transparent. The stories I've ever had comes from that movie. So when I say you couldn't pay me $1 million a year for the rest of my life for me to sleep in this house, believe it. The old Arnold estate is the farmhouse that inspired the film The Conjuring. 8 generations of family lived and died in this old house and apparently never wanted to leave. When the Perrin family moved in the 1970s, the advice they got was to leave the lights on. According to town records, 3 people committed suicide, 2 people drowned, 4 people froze to death, and lastly, a girl was brutally murdered. One of the reported was that of a rumored Satanist, who I will not name, cause reasons, who was reportedly the main reason for any attacks in the house. Famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren tried to help the Perrin family in the 1970s until they ended up moving to Georgia in the 1980s. So, don't go there. Don't go there.
Alright, coming in at number 10, we have a cursed goat. I'm going to show you 2 clips here and you can tell me what they have in common. The first is from The Exorcist, a movie about an intense demonic possession, and the second is from a goat at a farm in the Netherlands. It's an unlikely coupling.
Det ville være fantastisk.
Ja, ja.
Det gør det. Det gør det.
Okay, so similarities here. The video, simply called Demon Goat, was uploaded to YouTube in 2014 and has had over 230,000 views, and I have to say, it looks possessed. I'm scared. That's that. Do you want to hear something truly horrifying today? Of course you do. You clicked on this video. Coming into number 9, we have the parasites. So I came across an article in the Scientific American called Zombie Creatures: What Happens When Animals Are Possessed by a Parasitic Puppet Master. What a title. I had to click.
These spectacular, bizarre, bulging eyeballs are the snail's tentacles.
I did click and it was pretty harrowing to read. I've linked the article in the description box so you can actually read the whole thing if you want to, it's very interesting. The article details how a wasp lays eggs on a spider's abdomen, which then causes it to become possessed and spin a very uncharacteristic web. It's a strange web, a very strange web indeed. Now this web happens to be great for supporting a cocoon for the newly born wasp larvae, which then will eat the spider alive after they hatch. Nature. As of yet, it's unknown how the parasite molds their host behavior to their advantage, and actually, it's pretty spooky. Honestly, nature is the biggest creep. Coming into number 8, we have the flies. Can flies get possessed? According to Andrea Perron, yes they can. Andrea lived in the real-life house that inspired the movie The Conjuring, the house famously investigated by super spook investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. The house is a spooky little place in Rhode Island, and the flies there are not what they seem. In Perron's book House of Darkness, House of Light, she claims that her home would be inexplicably filled with houseflies up to absolutely no good. She wrote that she would see clusters of them huddled together as if plotting their next move. She claimed it was far more than an infestation, it was a manifestation. She then added that, strangely, the flies would disappear as soon as they arrived. When the Warrens arrived to investigate the house, Lorraine even claimed that the flies were there with a purpose, as if they were an omen of evil to come. Honestly, I feel like all flies are harbingers of evil to come. It's kind of like the evil that comes from not being able to get a good night's sleep, which I don't like. Who on earth can sleep in a room with an active fly? Not me, my friend, not me. Coming into number 7, we have hyenas. Hyenas are basically considered to have the souls of demons, right? In a lot of cultures, especially in African tribes, it is thought that hyenas are possessed with a demonic force that can then, in turn, possess humans. Human possession by a hyena is a common tale in African lore. In Tanzania, hyenas are considered to be witches' familiars, and the witches are thought to ride them. I don't want to ride a hyena, I really don't, but then again, I'm not a witch. Or am I? Honestly, talking about hyenas in this way makes me think of that Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode, The Pack. Season 1 Buffy. It's controversial, but I'm here for it. I'm always here for it. Honestly, when I grew up, I wanted to be Buffy, and instead of, I guess, fighting scary things, I talk about scary things on the internet, so you know. Alright, is this scary or funny? You decide. At number 6, we have the demon cat from hell? Or someplace else. Wherever it is, I'm not sure I want to go. This video was uploaded to YouTube by @RiderLove in November 2018, and it shows a very odd cat indeed. Have a little look.
What the f is that? What the f is that, a f***ing cat? Hey!
Like, what? That is the craziest looking cat that I have ever seen in my life. It's literally insane. I feel like we need to have another look at what might be causing that face.
Don't worry about it. Ma! Ma, there's a weird stray cat outside. It looks like grandma, the thing.
Oh, wow. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it in my life, and I'm utterly baffled. Like, the eyes, the tooth. It definitely looks like a possessed cat to me, but also, at the same time, I kind of find it cute. Anyone with me? Hands up. Meow. While we are doing videos of scary possessed animals, why don't you check out this spawn of Satan caught on camera at number 5. It's Moose the dog. A very confusing name for a dog. Is it a dog? Is it a moose? Whatever it is, you know, filled with the fires of hell. In March 2015, Scott Baxter uploaded a video called My Girlfriend's Dog is Possessed, and, well, upon reviewing the footage, as suspected, this might actually be fact. In the video description, he wrote, my girlfriend had to go to work and she gave her dog Moose a new bone. He was in no mood to share. I absolutely love how when he wrote this, in the description box, he used inverted commas for Moose as if like, allegedly Moose. Moose, if that is your real name. Anyway, let's have a look at Moose.
What you got there, Moose? Is that a bone? Do you have a bone?
Blah! He does not want anyone near that bone. The video received a lot of views for an uploader with a small number of subscribers, and some of the comments were absolutely gold. Smell Nice said, this dog needs Jesus, and Hensy Smothers said, yo, that dog ain't possessed, it just doesn't like you. What do you think? Enemies or get Jesus on the phone? Should we have another look?
I just want to see what you have. Just give me a lid.
Ah yes, that confirms it. Jesus it is then. Hello Jesus. Demon dog. On the loose. Thank you. I hope you are sitting comfortably for number 4, as ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Reddit. We have the story of the possessed parrot. I feel like a lot of parrots have got a lot of things going on. Animals that can speak human languages, I mean, what is that about? In 2016, the Shoegaxer asked the good people of Reddit to see if their parrot is possessed by Satan. A good question. Why did they ask? Well, it seems that the pretty Polly very much enjoyed the Quentin Tarantino movie Inglourious Bastards, and they got particularly excited in their cage when Nazis were on the screen, and only when Nazis were on the screen.
Yeah.
One thing led to another, and, well, I'll read you what happened next. The poster said, I ran a little experiment tonight. I looked up some satanic Latin chants and started reading them aloud. My parrot started getting really excited. He started bobbing up and down, doing his usual talking low, buzzy tone thing. I tried to distract him by giving him a treat, but he rejected it and he didn't shut up for several minutes. Finally, at his bedtime, I'm about to put the blanket over the cage, and he mimicked human laughter and didn't stop for a minute. Honestly, cursed. I'm gonna go out there and answer your Reddit question. Yes, your parrot is possessed. What are you gonna do about it? Do Ghostbusters do parrot possessions? I don't know. Coming into number 3, we have Princess the Paranormal Poodle. New York artist Olga Horvat believed that her poodle was possessed and brought her bad luck, with a capital B. Purebred Princess arrived at Horvat's home in New York, and soon her owner met a string of ill fortune. An intense bedbug infestation, hefty exterminator fees, almost being evicted, a rare autoimmune disease, a serious car accident. Horvat claims that her daughter started even hearing voices in her head. All because of the dog. It seems that the woman only began to realize that the dog might be possessed after 4 months. She said she was happy, but something was manipulating her. I'm convinced that something was attached, whether or not it was the spirit of another animal, human, or even an extraterrestrial. What? So what was the resolution here? How did she unpossess Princess? Well, you'll be pleased to know that Olga started making energy shield pendants to block electromagnetic energy and therefore evil spirits. And yes, they are commercially available. Was this all a marketing ploy? I'd never suggest it. I wouldn't. Coming into number 2, we have the cursed pig goat. A goat, a human, a pig-looking thing, all in one. This absolute freak was born to a goat in the Philippines, making headlines in 2018. Now, the creature was born by a cesarean section on a farm, and locals were worried that the creature was actually a cursed mutant devil. The obvious answer. Have a look and tell me what you think. Locals suspected that the pregnant goat that birthed the creature was at some point possessed by the actual factual devil, leading to the defected kid. Now, sadly, the mother and the kids died after the birth. Okay, as we move into the number 1 spot, I just want to give you a bit of a trigger warning because this is one of the saddest stories I've ever heard, and every time I think about it, it makes me just feel really, really blue. But I'm going to tell you about it. At number 1, we have Travis the Chimp. The story of Travis the Chimp is honestly a really, really heartbreaking one of the worst I've come across while working here. Travis was the beloved pet of Sandra Herold, who adopted him at just 3 days old. Travis was born in 1995 and lived to the age of 13. In his 13 years with Sandra, Travis became famous not just in Stamford, Connecticut where he lived, but across America. He appeared in TV commercials for Pepsi and Old Navy. Travis would pose for photos, dress himself, water plants, feed his owner's horses, eat at the table with the family. He was a member of the family. He loved watching baseball. He knew exactly when the ice cream truck would be going by his house. In 2009, Travis absolutely lost it, uncharacteristically. Travis had never been violent, but one day he snapped when playing with Sandra's close friend, Charla Nash. He mauled her horrendously. He would not get off her. He went nuts. It was as if he was possessed. Now, unfortunately, she lost her nose, an ear, both her hands, her eyesight. Possession is perhaps one word, but perhaps animals are, animals, and we can't expect them to behave as humans would. Is there an important lesson to be learned here? Honestly, I think there is. Coming in at number 10, we have the fang-headed mountain lion. In November 2016, images of a dead mountain lion with fangs and whiskers growing out of the back of its head surfaced online. Sadly, this lion was killed by a hunter in southeastern Idaho, which I guess you know how I feel about that kind of thing. Anyway, an image of the lion was sent to the Idaho Fish and Game Southeast Regional Office. Now, this was in Pocatello. Am I saying that right? Let me know. These guys were not able to identify the deformity. Reportedly, they were baffled. Biologist Zach Lockyer said, "It's a bizarre situation and a bizarre photo. I'm honestly sad that a hunter killed this animal, but at the same time, a double-fanged lion? terrifying. Coming into number 9, we have glow-in-the-dark cats. It may sound like science fiction, but it isn't. In 2011, scientists generated mutant glow-in-the-dark cats. I like cats, but I've read repeatedly, and I may add that cats officially meet the definition of psychopaths. I've read that if they were any bigger than they currently are, they would kill you. So, not so cute now. I'm not sure if cats glowing in the dark makes things any better. I have to say, if I saw one, I would be terrified, or assume that I was drunk. Scientists genetically modified the cats, inserting one gene into them, a version of a green fluorescent protein that light up crystal jellyfish. Why? Well, actually, there's a really good reason. Apparently, it helps them resist feline AIDS, which I've just discovered is a thing. The GFP protein is found in jellyfish, and scientists use it in cats to make it easy to spot the altered genes and help scientists study HIV. So, scary as it may be, it's actually a really good thing. Glow-in-the-dark cats though, I don't know. I need your opinion on this. Let me know in the comment section down below. I don't like this at number 8. We have the three-eyed snake. Forget the three-eyed raven. This three-eyed snake is here and spreading fear in the Australian outback. Nicknamed Monty Python for the lols, I would not be laughing if I met this beast. Pythons scare me at the best of times, but pythons with 3 eyes? Boy, bye. This snake was found on a highway in, legitimately, the remote Australian town of Humpty Doo, which actually is the best town name that I have ever heard ever, and I would deeply consider moving there if it weren't for the three-eyed snakes. Bummer. At the time, Monty, no, the cute name does not help. At the time Monty was discovered in March 2018, he was thought to be a baby and measured just half a meter. I say just. That's half a meter more snake than I can deal with. Now, well, I bet that he's bigger. It is thought that the reason for the deformity is, delightfully, a twin absorbed by Monty in the womb. Blah, snake womb. No! This discovery was made by Northern Territory Parks and Wildlife Rangers, so unfortunately it is definitely legit. Suffice to say, he sees you. There's always time for a dad joke, and don't even at me. So it seems that this isn't a one-time only thing. Coming in at number 7, we have a two-headed shark. Shout out to my friend Mingles, who absolutely loves a shark. Like, babe, how do you feel about a two-header? I need to know. It seems in 2016, the Beeb reported that a two-headed shark embryo had been found, which, well, I mean, a two-headed shark sounds like the plot for Sharknado 7 or Jaws 2027. 2 heads! Honestly horrifying. Scarily, shortly after that story broke, National Geographic, something I consider a trusted news source, published an article declaring that actually, they have been turning up worldwide, which is pretty freaking terrifying, am I right? It seems that blue sharks are most likely to have a mutant baby because they carry so many babies at a time. Double-headed sharks. I will see you a two-headed shark and raise you a two-headed alligator. I need both hands to do this, so... That's right, number 6, two-headed alligators. Holy moly, I cannot deal with a one-headed alligator, let alone 2. This is much worse than a two-headed shark in my opinion, because I feel like alligators are more prominent in our human living areas than sharks are. Like with sharks, I mean, we're kind of in their territory when we're in the ocean, right? But alligators... kind of have to share. In 2014, a two-headed gator was allegedly spotted in Tampa in Florida. It was spotted by a man named Justin Arnold, who posted the images to social media, after which they were shared thousands of times by freaked out people. On Facebook, Arnold said that the gator had been reported by several people to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. A lot of people were dubious as to the authenticity, calling the image a hoax. I honestly really hope it is. The next animal is an urban legend rather than a fact, but if it is real, well, that's terrifying. Coming into number 5, we have the meat slabs. In early 2000s, rumors started flying around the internet that McDonald's meat was made from genetically modified cow mutants, grown specifically to be burger food in a secret lab somewhere. The original source seems to be from a fake email uncovered in Brazil. The email said that the people who had seen the creatures reared in the lab were absolutely horrified, as like you obviously would be, right? They said that the mutants had no limbs, bones, horns or fur, that their heads were the size of a baseball, and that they were fed through tubes directly to the stomach. Meat slabs. Grim. The email also stated that those who eat this meat are at the risk of catching a disease akin to AIDS and Alzheimer's. What on earth? Honestly, that's when they lost me, like, eat this meat and you'll get AIDS. I don't agree. I think this is fake. Still though, scary. Coming into number 4, we have the leaf rat. A farmer in the Ratlam district of India found a rat with a soybean plant growing out of its body on his land, which I imagine was a sight to behold. Farmer Datar Singh said that his neighbours filmed the mutant rat. Now the footage is pretty shocking and really sad because the rat seems to be struggling with its deformity. That's just a warning for you before I show you the footage. The plant growing in its back is really big and the rat is probably in a whole lot of pain. That pain is only going to continue to increase as the plant grows. So I guess you're wondering, how did this happen, right? The best explanation is that a soybean seed must have fallen into an open wound in the rat's body and it then found the right conditions to grow. Horrifying. As the plant grew, it meant that the wound in the rat was unable to heal, leaving it constantly exposed, which makes me feel sick and sad at the very same time. Ooh. Coming into number 3, we have the Fukushima fish. The Fukushima power plant accident took place in May 2011, during which a nuclear power plant spilled radioactive material into the North Pacific Ocean. Fast forward 4 years and this beast was pulled out of the water near where the disaster took place. If that isn't a mutant fish, honestly, I don't know what it is. Honey looks prehistoric to me. Honestly, I just made that up. I feel like that might be my new favourite insult, like, lol, you look prehistoric. I'm actually honestly not mean enough to say that to anyone, but I can think it, maybe. No, it's too mean to even think, but a good insult that you can have for free. Anyway, Japanese fisherman Hirosaka Hiroshi tweeted an image of himself with the fish, which he explained to be a massive wolffish double its size. Coming into number 2, we have the beast. Have a look at this image and tell me what on earth you think this creature is. Or, I don't know, is that claws? Cloven hooves? I'll give you a second to make up your mind. Done it? Good? So it seems that this poor creature was a lamb, and it was promptly and creatively dubbed the devil lamb after it was born. The story goes that in 2017, in a South African village, inhabitants were shocked and disturbed by the birth of a human-looking lamb. Villagers were convinced that either bestiality or witchcraft were at play when the human-looking lamb was birthed, although sadly the creature was stillborn. DNA samples confirmed that the creature was indeed a lamb, even though other people had other theories. Many locals were convinced that the dead sheep was the work of the devil and a bad omen of things to come. Devil. Finally, coming into number 1, we have the animals of Chernobyl. This is actually so sad. Following the infamous Chernobyl disaster of 1986, a lot of animals were born with serious mutations. Chernobyl and the towns of Pripyat are still exclusion zones, meaning you can't go there, but obviously it's pretty hard to stop wild animals roaming. In the immediate fallout, farm animals produced seriously deformed offspring, such as this cow. Here is a lamb also reportedly from Chernobyl. Concerningly, there is now talk that Chernobyl wild wolves could be spreading mutations across Europe, which is, you know, worrying, to say the least.
Starting us off, in at number 10, we have the boiling river that is over 100 degrees Celsius.
It's getting much hotter.
Turns out this place is real.
Here's the boiling river. This part pretty hot.
If you fall in there, you would be cooking yourself. This river is also called Lambamba or Shene Lemishka, which means boiled by the heat of the sun, although some of the heat is actually geothermal. And it is known to be the only boiling river in the world. Andres Russo is a geoscientist, conservationist, author, science communicator, and educator who became the first scientist granted permission to study the boiling river of the Amazon back in 2011, so that was pretty recent.
Imagine a river, hot enough to kill you, said to be the home of a powerful Amazonian water spirit. That place is real, and I've been there.
From the boiling waters of the Amazon to now a water lily so big and so strong it can actually hold up an average person's weight, well, this mammoth of a lily comes in at number 9. The lily is called Victoria Amazonica. It is known as the largest of the lily family. One thing we know about the Amazon rainforest is that it has a very unique climate and it has a lot of rainfall, which makes everything a lot bigger, including this lily pad. I mean, aren't these things just for frogs? This can probably house like the world's population population of frogs. Okay, maybe not, but you guys get the point. This lily pad can reach up to 3 meters in diameter. And just like that, number 8, we have the Jesus Christ lizard. Is this real life right now? Who is naming these things? These Jesus Christ lizards have the capability of running on water, and it's pretty amusing to watch.
So I'm about to show you guys what these lizards are capable of by showing you that he can run across water. So here he goes, guys. So right here.
I think this is the coolest thing ever, and was Jesus able to walk on water as well? I'm not sure if I got the name reference. I don't think this is how the laws of physics work. I want to have this ability, and I wonder if this frog can also turn water into wine.
Just like that.
The mysterious Amazon rings is next up at number 7. A series of ring-shaped ditches have been found throughout the Amazon rainforest. I suppose there are a lot of theories, about aliens landing here. This can be alien landing sites. This can be compared to crop circles. It is believed that these ditches were possibly used as a drainage system for people who lived there hundreds of years ago. Many archaeologists believe that these indigenous people might have lived in the Amazon rainforest even before Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas back in 1492. Well, whatever the case may be, these discoveries have caused controversy. People also believe that these were ancient settlements from the 1250s to the 1500s. Moving into number 6, we have the frog who has nothing to hide. We're talking about the glass frog that is commonly found in the Amazon rainforest. These glass frogs are transparent. You can see everything inside.
They're typically characterized by their skin, which is so translucent you can see their organs. For scientists, this latest discovery is a good sign.
I think it's so creepy. Imagine them were all translucent and you could see everyone's insides. I mean, that would freak me out. I wouldn't want to know what everyone's eating. We actually have another animal and another frog on this list. There are so many frogs out there. Doing the research for this, I was like, wow. So up next, number 5, we have the poison dart frog. I mean, take a look at this thing. It looks pretty sick. It has blue skin and its eyes are like black, like demon eyes. Pretty scary looking if you asked me. The Amazon rainforest seems to have it all. This mysterious frog is actually known to be the most toxic creature on Earth. This frog is capable of killing 10 grown men with its poison. These frogs are actually pretty tiny and they come in black, yellow, red, green, copper, blue, depending on their individual habitats. These bright colors help scare off potential predators. Also, the food they eat, which are small ants, mites, and other invertebrates, well, they have high concentrations of alkaloids. Once the alkaloids are ingested into the poisonous frog system, it allows them to produce toxins that makes them poisonous. Number 4, we have the largest species of river dolphins in the world. Remember when I said that everything is much bigger in the Amazon rainforest? Well, I guess it's really proven to be true. Well, let's take a look at the pink dolphin. They grow about 2 to 3 meters in length and they weigh over 350 pounds.
We've come here to the Amazon to check out the Boto dolphin, otherwise known as the pink river dolphin.
The life expectancy of the Amazon river dolphin in the wild, well, it's actually unknown, but in captivity, the longevity of a healthy dolphin has been recorded to be about 10 to 30 years. Because of their habitat being destroyed and people catching them, they are dwindling in population. Alright, let's move on to number 3. We have the world's biggest flower. This right here, well, this is the Rafflesia. This flower has no roots, stems, or leaves, making it very mysterious. And how does it even grow? This flower might look pleasant, well, sort of. Well, it's actually known for its smell of rotting meat. This would be the only flower I would look at in the world that would make me want to throw up.
And here it is. Wow, look at the size of this flower.
The bloom of this flower only lasts about 6 to 7 days, which makes it very rare to find it while it's bloomed. After it's bloomed, it just dies and rots away. Like take a look at this.
It's a parasite. It has no leaves. It consists of a fiber of tissues inside a vine called the tetrastigma vine.
Everything about this flower is just so mysterious, which is why we put it on this list. Moving on to number 2, we have the indigenous tribe who live in the Amazon rainforest. I've been so fascinated with this. I really have been. There are about 400 to 500 indigenous tribes. They are very isolated from the outside world. In fact, they have no contact with the outside world. The Yanomami tribe is the largest tribe in the rainforest, and they have about 20,000 people, and they live near the border of northern Brazil and southern Venezuela. Many other tribes only have about 20 to 30 people in it. In these tribes, there are 180 different languages spoken. I just think it's so crazy that, you know, we're all living in 2019, but we still have people in the world who are living in the Stone Age. Like, to those people, we are from the future, or we are what they call aliens. Finally, at number 1, I think this one is the most fascinating, and for some reason, I've actually learned about this a while ago before I did the research for this video. Well, at number 1, we're talking about the walking palm, the walking tree, which is a tree that can literally walk. Is this real life right now? How is something like this possible? I mean, this tree is from the future.
What's happening, y'all? I don't know if you've ever seen a walking tree. This is actually called a walking tree because these are the roots that come from up high, not down in the ground. They grow into the ground. They're both on both sides of the tree.
Usually these trees will try and get closer, closer to water, or move to places in the right spot where they have the right amount of sun. If you ever come across this tree though, don't get like terrified or scared that if you do something wrong, this tree might chase you or something like that. Because the walking tree walks pretty slowly. I mean, you will never see it move. It moves like a centimeter every like couple of years or something.